you're good with it and you're good without it. It's very easier said than done, right? And this is in application to the things that you want, or the things that you're going for, or the goals that you want, the experiences that you want to have. You're good with it and you're good without it. And this ties into this idea of manifesting what you want can only happen when you're objective to it. You're not totally pouring an emotion or adding in all this opinion to it. You just say, yeah, I want it. And I remember Aaron Doty talking about this. He was quoting Ariana Grande, who was like, you know what? You got to be like Ariana Grande in that one song. She says, I want it. I got it. I want it. I got it. And we'll get to that in a second. But the idea of this video will give you some life experience examples on being impartial to what you want, and then also tools on how to get it. And a big idea that you can just apply to this is that the more emphasis you put on something that you want, the more emphasis you put on the wanting of the thing, the more emphasis you put on the not having of it. And what you're doing is you're creating more distance between you and the thing that you want, or the experience that you're going for. And you create more disparity between the two of you. Anything that you want in this life, you can most likely connect to the feeling that you would have if you had it. So why not just have the feeling right now? Okay, some people might have got angry at that. And I definitely got angry when I first heard that as well. And the idea is that you can ascertain the feeling before you have the thing. When we talk about cause and effect, the idea of having something, that's the tip of the iceberg. That's the effect. The order was already put in at the restaurant and the thing showed up. Can you put in the order and sit, be still? Let the mud settle. Can you be still? Can you be impartial? Can you apply neutrality to your circumstances while you continue to work for the thing that you're going for, or ascertain the feeling of already having it? I had this idea when we were on tour. I was on tour with this band, and I would look at I would look at old Fall Out Boy videos, and I'd be like, "Oh man, we got to be like them." Like, we weren't a punk rock band like them, but we or a pop band like them, but we would tour. We toured all the time. Like, that was like poured my heart and soul into that. And I was like, man, if our shows aren't popping like that, they're not popping at all. And what that did was it put emphasis and direct, like almost spiteful judgment on our current circumstance. Basically, if any show wasn't like a Fall Out Boy show, or like packed with thousands of people, then it wasn't satisfying, which then made A plus B equals C. A, we're playing a show that doesn't have as many people as Fall Out Boy, plus B, meaning I need thousands of people like a Fall Out Boy show for us to feel satisfied or good about what we're doing, equals C, I don't feel good about what we're doing. And so the thing that I love to do, which is play music and play for people, then got co-opted into this story I was telling myself that, well, if it's not like this, then it's not good at all. And it all clicked one day. We were in Wisconsin, and we had little to no money to our name. We were working. People talk about working paycheck to paycheck. We were working dollar to dollar. Okay, you sell a T-shirt for $20, great. We can get some gas. You sell another T-shirt. Like, it was like 20 to 20 is what we were going for. So like every $20, cool. Now we can buy a meal for somebody. Another $20, okay, cool. We can cover that bar tab for what we spent at the venue over the drink tickets. And so we essentially just kept just chipping away, like $20 bill after $20 bill. And I remember waking up one morning. I was going to the coffee shop, and we had like a third show to play in the city. We had done a live show, or no, we'd done a house party, then an acoustic show, then we are gonna do a live venue show. And I remember it was like the third day or something like that, and I was looking down the street. It's a beautiful street, small little town in Wisconsin. Then we were on our way to somewhere else, and I was like, oh my God, we're doing it. Before I even knew it, I was living the thing that I wanted before I even knew that I had it. I already had it. And I was like, all these people that packed into these shows, it was as big as it could be. It was as many people that could show up as possible. It was amazing. And we we had packed out these shows, and I thought to myself, my goodness, I'm living the dream. Like, even though we don't have, a stacked bank account or anything like that, we were still playing music. We were doing it really by any means necessary. We were going for it, even though the 3D didn't reflect what we wanted already. And when that was happening, I was like, oh, we already have it. It's already there. And then I think about a few months later, we played at this giant festival, and there was thousands of people outdoors, and they saw our music, and we had a great time. And we really lived the dream. Like, we did all the things, and I still do that today. Like, that still happens in the music I do today. And the idea was, can you be good with it, and can you be good without it? And I think that we need to dive into the with it and the without it, because having it means that, well, the 3D has answered it. You go to a restaurant, you order something, and it's going to take like 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes, maybe longer, who knows? And you don't order it and then ask them right away, where's my food? Because it's going to take time for the food to get there. It's the same thing with the universe. It's like when you request something, it's already on its way. And the more that you begin to apply this idea of, oh, where is it? Oh my God, this impatience for it, or this energy that you don't have it, you begin to emphasize the space between you and it. And you then create more time and more space between you and the thing that you're going for. And the universe says, yes, okay, cool. You want to emphasize the want and emphasize the space between you in this thing? Great. We'll give you even more space. And then it creates more frustration, and it begets itself. It becomes cyclical. And when you can meditate is one of the tools that we'll get to in a little bit, but when you can ease into the impartialness of, I'm good with it, I'm good without it, maybe you can just say, I already have it. It's already on its way. So I'm good with it, and I'm good with it. Like, it's already coming. Because this idea of our imaginations being able to conjure a scenario or a 3D idea that we want something, there's a lot of people that talk about, because you can imagine it means that you already have it. It's already on its way. You just have to apply the proper tools and meditation and all these other things, or just rest into the fact that you have it already, the law of assumption. And I think that that's so important in life in general, because our frustration or our emphasis on the lack of something can absolutely, it can really, really do a lot of damage to our craft and ourselves in that space of waiting, in that space of wanting. And people can spend entire lifetimes in that space. And it's wild. It's fascinating, actually. And that life experience of me looking down the street and thinking, oh, we already have the thing that we've been wanting this whole time. It may not look like a Fall Out Boy or like Gym Class Hero or anybody signed by Fueled by Ramen at the time type of concert, but it's our tour. This is who we are. This is what we got going. And so I always thought that was cool, that we already had it. It was already there. It was just right there. And I was good with it and I was good without it, but I already had it. And now let's go to the word good. So I'm good. You see people say, yo, what's going on? I'm good. Like, everything's all good. It's G. So the idea is, define good for you. Like, what is the feeling you would have? What is the feeling you would have if you had the thing that you are thinking of? Can you just have that feeling right now, as we said earlier? What is that feeling like? Really dive into what the scenario is. What do things look like in your life? What are people saying to you? Start to envision what that is and relive it. Like, really go over that. Like, live in that reality. Because the big thing that I have been thinking about a lot lately is when like right now it's snowing in the city that I'm in. It didn't just decide to snow right now. Snow is the effect of like a litany of things happening long before it even touches the ground. It's the same thing for what you want. It's starting with the requests, and then there are just numerous things that are happening. And then all of a sudden, boom, it appears in the 3D. So what we're dealing with in the 3D is the effect, and the cause is what's happening outside of it. It's what's happening in here. It's like you right there. And I know that's a tough place to go to for a lot of people, or at least conceive that everything starts inner, as within, as without. And I just think it's really important to understand that. And that's something that I've definitely had some trouble with remembering it, because sometimes you have to sit down and put it together. Now, that brings us into the tools. For me, to understand the good with and good without is taking inventory of when there are, or when I have frustrations, or like outward expressed frustrations. It could be in traffic. It could be just with myself when I'm impatient with myself. Oh, I left the thing back in the apartment. I got to walk all the way back in. Oh man, I left that back at home. Ah, darn it. So it's kind of that negative self-talk almost. And everybody has like a different way of coping with the not having or the frustration of it. And you have to figure out what yours is. And my means is usually when something ridiculous happens, I'll go, do something, Morrison. Oh my God. And I have to rest in that situation and then forgive, like kind of be like gentle with me, like be like caring in those moments. And it's huge. It's really huge. It's really an action of self-care, and then healing, and then saying, it's okay. It's okay. We're on the road that we're on. The journey is, we're going to the place that we want to be. Actually, we're already there. This is just part of the journey. It's fine. And that then gets me back into the frame of good with it, good without it. And the other thing is meditation. And that has probably been one of the toughest things for me to practice, because for someone who's always on the go, creating this, that, and the third, meditation seems backwards sometimes for me. And I have to remember that it's not. That it actually propels you forward, if anything. And it seems like a paradox. I have to sit down and be still to do the things. And it doesn't make sense to me all the time. Doesn't make sense to me. But meditation for me is a means of revisiting the truth of that practice actually helping everything out. And a lot of other things. I mean, just with my relationships with other people, my relationship with myself. And I just think that's a really beautiful thing. It's a really, really beautiful practice of self-care that you can give yourself, and also get into the idea and mode of good with or good without. And really, there's multiple examples of, you might have applied to a job and you were really like, oh man, this is gonna be so great. I really want this job. And you forget about it, and then boom, they call and they say, hey, you got the job. For me, with some of the acting work that I do, I don't even look at what the gig is. I look at the audition. I look at what they're looking for. I don't look at, is this union? Is this non-union? What's the pay? Oh my God. And I just do it. And then when it comes through and they're like, hey, I think you got the part. You're on call. You're on the callback list or whatever. Okay, cool. Because one thing, and this is kind of the final example, the story, I'll never forget this. My acting teacher told me, BK, she said, this one, so we were all in this acting class in college, and she was teaching it. And one of the dudes had gone out to New York, came back after winter break or spring break, and he was a little bit ticked off. And my professor had spoken to me about it, and she said, he went out to New York to audition for some pretty big theaters and some other things, didn't get the role, and he came back pretty pissed off. And she said she told him, you need to really check in with getting pissed off about this, because you're not going to survive in this industry if you get pissed off about not getting a role. And he said, what? And she said, you have to get used to rejection. And that is 1000% true in the entertainment industry, in acting and in film. Get used to getting rejected all the time. You're going to get told no all the time. And it's not even for any lack of talent. It's just like they don't even want somebody with the color hair that you have, or the or the color skin that you have, or, you know, your height, or, you know, you may not have like a big beard. Like, it literally could be anything, but you have to get used to it. And once you get good with or good without, baby, okay, fine. We can apply to all the agencies, and we're not going to take anything personal. We're just going to keep going for it because that's part of our craft and what we do. So I'm skipping ahead. This is for like another video. It's who are you being? Who are you being when going for the things that you want? Can you be the person that already has them? What would that person be like? What would that person act like? Who is that person? Who are you being when you already have these things? We'll get into that another time. I've already skipped ahead. Good with, good without. I hope that this video somewhat helped you. Yeah, and this is all that this is here for, just a value to you. And we will most definitely see you in the next video. And in the comment section, put down anything that, like, maybe notes you've taken away for this, and then also other topics you may want me to talk about down the line. Thanks for being here.